Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And this evening, y'all, I had my private session with Ambujam a while back, and it blew me away. It's the places that she went. I had no idea of her capacity to do that surgery that she does that doesn't feel like surgery, but how she can just navigate and excavate and bring to consciousness what's been waiting for us to be in relationship with it. It's so powerful. And I now I want to get into some of that experience with y'all today. Perhaps you'll experience something as well. We're going to be talking about navigating the 2024 multi-consciousness. Know thyself is the subject of today. But Ambujam also absolutely loves taking live calls. So if y'all are on the call and have a personal question, you may want to raise your hand and take advantage of this time because she is freaking amazing. And you may be surprised by what comes up and through for you. And with that, let me tell you a little bit more about her. So Ambujam is a quantum energy healer, awakening and embodiment activator, wayshower, and guide. Ambujam's one-of-a-kind group power healing leaps you forward through thresholds of healing, awakening, and self-empowered freedom that would have normally taken weeks, months, decades, or even lifetimes. Group power healing attracts kick-ass, highly attuned, self-guided individuals dedicated to their healing. I bet that's you guys, huh? Living truth, empowerment, and self-realization, no matter what. This type of synergy creates an accelerated healing power, catapulting personal growth, evolution, and awakening for all attending each session. There's an opportunity for y'all and a special offer today that y'all are not going to want to miss. We're going to get to that a little bit later. In these, you constantly clear out roots of old energy patterns, making space to awaken and embody faster into your next levels. So group power healing unlocks your inner knowing, amplifies true self, energizes your heart's truth, and anchors self-embodiment. John's work has accelerated the path to freedom for over 29 years. She definitely accelerated me when I got to meet her and got to dive in. And I'm so grateful for you, just for who you be, your humor, your essence. And I'm grateful that you're finally on Beyond the Ordinary. Welcome. It's been a long time coming.
You. Hooray. Hello, everybody. It's so good to be here. I was saying to John that basically I woke up this morning and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And I still have like 8 more hours. So I'm so glad to be with you guys. It's like, finally I can exhale and we can all do what we're going to do together today. So thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Why were you so excited? What was coming up?
I just felt it like just not the details, but just the energy would be like building and building and building. And it's kind of like this community, is all coming together. And every time really, whenever I show up to do, whether it's a show or my work or whatever it is, it always starts before me. Like I'm the last one to arrive, let's say, my human self. And it just builds and builds and builds and builds. And I always know we're going to do something super sacred together. And it's like when we kind of begin, it's like a movie that pops up in front of me, literally, and shows me what's going on and what we're going to do today and what's going on with you guys. And so, yeah, I'm excited. Jump in.
Why don't we get into a little bit of your work and how you're facilitating people? Your bio is fantastic, and there's a lot that provokes curiosity. Doing it. Can you give us just a direct download from you? How does it you facilitate people, and where is it that you go in these spaces? Because you're so unique.
It's so unique. So my story is really long and I'm going to super shorten it. So ever since I was like 2 years old, I was seeing the path of the soul. and all its significant experiences, reactions, belief systems, stories, how it knew itself, how it like didn't know itself yet, and how it was learning about itself through every experience it was having. And there were like these dots of these really significant experience that the soul had. And these dots were completely relevant to the human self and what the human self is going through. And the dots are both the root issues, the root causes of what the adult is going through, but also the awakening and the freedom and the truth of that person. So I'm just going to fast forward to present day. So what's super unique about this work that I feel is I'm able to see both sides, the person that's healing, but also the awake true self. And so depending on where people are at on their path, everyone has, we could say, both, right? This truth is coming out and it has this whole life to live and it's living its life. And the human self is like, what is going on, right? The human self still has this soul history that they're healing and that they're becoming aware of and that they're understanding about themselves. And yet, the same exact time, there's this truth, this awakeness that has nothing to do with any of that. And it's just this present light, truth. And so the significant, relevant core issues, experiences, belief systems, ego identity that has been with the person side, let's say, since the word go, since incarnation number one, and not just in this universe. It's just beyond everything they've ever been is meeting this awakening and purifying, dropping away, and completing, because it has to, because we're to be this now, right? And so when we do our work together, we could say both show themselves to me. Like, this is where I am awakening, and these are the relevant things that I'm dealing with because the awakening is bringing it up. And when the information starts coming in, there's this partnering that happens between you and me that is so sacred, that arises out of this truth in you and truth in me, that it creates this accelerated healing that we're able to like zap through consciousness, because we don't just pull it out. It's this super fast way that the truth of you and all these levels of your awareness completely understand the root causes of your issues, where they come from and why they're still here, and what you're awakening in yourself, what you're understanding about yourself. It's this super fast collaborative partnership that creates this super fast healing that's able to go to all of these energetic areas and bring like awakening to it all. And it's just like, psh, 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 psh. And then the human self is like, I feel better. It's just truly beyond anything that I could truly describe, because the sacredness of it and the quickness of it. And we all start kind of working together, you guys will see. See what I mean? And when it's first opened for me, so I did it when I was little, the accelerated healing part wasn't there yet. So I would see these things about people when I was little. I thought everybody saw what I saw. And then I got to high school and everybody's like, you're a weirdo, you're a buzzkill, go away. So I was like, meow. So I shut it down, totally forgot I shut it down, was about to get married when I was 25. First time ever my heart spoke to me and said, no, do not marry this person. Long story short, I ended the relationship. I felt drawn to go to San Francisco. So I'm 26 at this point. I'm in San Francisco for 3 months and I'm walking to my waitressing gig, and all of a sudden, boom, my gifts open. And I felt
Wow.
no longer this person anymore. I felt like this expansive being. And I started to know stuff. I'm like, how do I know stuff? And it was just this feeling of like knowing. And I walked into work and people's soul started talking to me about what they're going through, why they're going through what they're going through. And I was just like, this is interesting. And again, the story's so long, but so that's when my practice started. And I was doing readings and I started my own practice. And it was about 10 years into my readings when this client was sitting in front of me and I'm doing my readings about this soul thing that's going on. And all of a sudden, this part of my client, like this core part of their being, woke up like this. Boom. And there was just this light. And the light started to heal, like send energy to what I was doing a reading on. And I was watching it change, transform, become aware of itself. I'm like, what is going on? And long story short, I was like, oh, that's awakening. That my client just woke up and the light wasn't going away. Like, it's not just a healing, because healing and awakening are really different. Okay, we can talk about that later. But so my clients started waking up like in front of me, and everyone started having what we're going through now. 24 hours a day, you're shifting, you're changing, your stuff's coming up, right? And now we know what it is. But back then, my clients were like, what the F is going on with me? Like, all my stuff's up 24 hours a day. My passions are going away. I don't even know if I want to stay in this marriage, or I can't even do my job. Like, all I can do is lay in bed. And so I was talking with my team, I call Spirit, and they're like, we need a different modality to deal with this, because this one-on-one is like too slow for you to share with people what this awakening is what's happening. We need to talk to more people at once to let them know why they're going through what they're going through. So the group power healing started then, and more people started waking up. And now, nowadays it's like pretty normal to have a conversation about awakening, where before it was like, what is that? So my work just totally had to change, because what was so interesting is when the awakening happened in my client, like boom, light, it was so absolute presence, like absolute present, alive and aware. And at the same time, all these issues were around the light, all the soul history still there. And I was like, interesting. They're not their issues. Because before we thought we were our feelings, like we thought we were the thing that we were healing. We didn't question yet. Wait a minute, is this my feeling? Is it not my feeling? And I was like, how do we do healing now? Because if they're not their issue anymore, and yet the issue is still there, what do you do? And it just changed it had to change how I worked, because everybody was waking up. And so this accelerated healing thing started kind of then, because the person's system knew exactly what to do in this whole other way. And it just changed everything. And so, that's what I want to share for now. I could go on because it's a story, but it
sounds like a fantastic story.
It just changed everything. And, now everyone is going through it, right? So, yeah.
What happens in the group power healings? It's again, I've experienced a one-on-one session with you. I've experienced a couple of one-on-one sessions with you. And again, it's so profound. I got off my call and I went into the bedroom recording. I was like, oh my God, I'm not the same person. It's like, this was such a big shift that occurred in these 2 hours that we were together. And my soul wouldn't let you go. It's like we were kind of talking.
We were just like, it's going.
There's still more to go. I remember that in the session. It's coming. It's like, no, we're not letting you go yet. You're saying goodbye to me. And it's like, my soul's like, it's like, you're coming. We're going deeper. And again, that was so profound for me. Truly, I was blown away what happens in a group power? And by the way, I think we're going to do a mini group power
Yeah, yeah.
healing session on the call today as well. Is that
Yeah.
correct, Ambujam? Can we do
Yeah,
that?
for
So
sure.
we're going to get to that later, y'all. And again, we're going to take live callers also. So if you want to ask your question, I highly encourage you to really raise your hand. And we'll take live calls in a little bit. But what's different between the personal sessions and the group power healings? Because my ego loves the individual one-on-one. Thank you for giving me all
Yeah,
the
of
attention,
course.
and it's wonderful. But what you're saying is that group power healings are effective, and so it's what goes on there, and how do
It's
people
still,
walk away from it? And
yeah, I'm still in awe when people send me an email after. So when we do group power healing, it's like a private session with everyone. Okay, I do not know how this works. Okay, so I'm going to describe what it feels like on my end and what I see. So when the group starts, everyone comes. They feel like I put out the email and they resonate with the topic and they come. Okay. And every single why we do group power healing is to help you guys clear off your old stuff super, super, super fast and embody your awakening. Like that's the end of the day thing. And then there are all these different topics depending on what's going on energetically and the shifts and all the things. So everyone joins, and just like a one-on-one session, what the group is going through comes out and starts talking to me, shows me this is where they're at in their awakening, this is where they're at in their healing, these are the very specific things that's going on with the group of them that are relevant right now to help them heal the old super fast, become aware of what they need to become aware of, and that so that light can come out and embody. And it's a journey that I get taken on of what is happening within each specific person, and yet it's a group. And it is so detailed. It's so an example is this. Last week, we're in the middle of the healing, and all of a sudden, the body's consciousness went, it became aware of itself. And it's like, wait a minute, I don't have to be in all this old stuff. I can actually be aware of how I'm holding energy. And so I'm sharing that information about the body. And then I get an email after the session with somebody saying, I was just, before the call, I was just thinking about information I got from my guides years ago about the body and the consciousness of the body. And I was like, interesting. Okay. Another quote, funny example is so I'm doing this session, same session, and all this information is coming through. We're doing all this healing, detailed past life, multidimensional, this life stuff. And all of a sudden, spirit comes in with this image of yogurt. And they're like, let's give him some yogurt because it soothes the lungs. That's right. We were doing healing in the lungs. And for whatever reason, this yogurt was like this soothing elixir. And so my job is to say everything that comes. It's not up to me to be like, yogurt. Why would I say yogurt? Okay, my mind might do that, but I'm like, I'm saying it because it's relevant for whatever reason. And so I talk about the yogurt. So then after the call, I get an email from someone else saying, I had this like urge for yogurt today, right before the call. I ate the yogurt. All of a sudden, my lungs started purging and clearing, and all this gunk came out. And it was the same exact thing that you talked about in the session. So there's something going on, you guys, when we work together that is like in the moment alive of this information that's coming in. I'm always just in awe and astounded because I don't really know, how do you have a group of people that have gone through the same exact thing in that past life, number 7, let's say, but they did. And so it's like a big fat private session, and yet we're in a group. And why, when people come, it's that resonance of like, people have things in common, that we're all here, together. And when we do a little bit today, you'll see in a sec. But so I get like email after email saying, are you sure there was anyone else on the call? Because what you said was so relevant and you sounded like you were talking exactly to me. And I'm like, I don't know how this works, but it does. So that's how it works. It's like a big fat private session, but with a bunch of people. And what's interesting, I love the analogy of like firemen. So if there's a house on fire and you just have one hose of water versus 500 hose of water, that fire is going to go out like that, right? So we have a group of us together with everyone who's in this like 100% dedicated to themselves. I want to be free no matter what. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to honor my heart, and I'm going to make all these decisions to be who I am in this life. You have a bunch of people who come together like that. That's the fire hoses that work with all these issues really, really, really fast, because that in common thing is going on. And yet we have this synergy to be able to get deeper and wider with people, even though we're in a group. So that's how I want to share it. Oh, so we get John is MIA on the video. I see April though.
Oh no, we've lost
Okay.
John.
We lost John. He must be having audio issues.
Well, you know, anytime you're in a hotel, there's
Right.
necessarily great. I think he's coming back.
Okay, good. Yep.
Maybe.
So yeah, I'll share a little more as he's back as we're waiting. Are you there, sir? Looks like you're muted.
John, you're muted.
Nope, muted.
I think it's his hat.
Oh.
There we go.
Yay.
Welcome back.
I think I'm back. Yeah, we're having some internet issues over here, so I apologize.
That's okay.
So you got to the group calls, and I missed the. It's part of the gig these days. I apologize that I missed it because you're deep in it. There was so much coming up. I think what I wanted to do is, and April, you may need to help me with this. We're gonna start taking some live callers. Get into this, and then as I get set up, we'll go into the group healing and some questions I want to ask you about the importance of what's happening in 2024, and we have to, and why we are learning to show up in ways that perhaps we haven't considered before. So we're gonna get into some Q&A here, faster than what I anticipated, so y'all are in luck. Again, I'm promoting a lot of y'all to panelists. We're gonna continue here. Ambujam, thank you for your patience.
Yeah, of course.
And again, April, do me a favor, put the link for the special offer in the chat box as well. I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to look at that, and y'all can look at that in case I drop off the call again. But as we're going on here, John, let me ask you this as we're getting ready here. Because people's names are now they're showing like robots. User 1509 is coming up. It's lo and behold, welcome to Zoom today. And yesterday, as we're navigating some of the callers here, all right, user 1509, let's get you to unmute. And Ambujam, how do you want to work with people as they come on? Are you gonna tap in? Is there a way that you just kind of get to know their field and things automatically come up? How does that normally occur for you?
They can ask whatever they want, and then whatever aspect of the information wants to come will come.
Okay. Wonderful. And as I say your number, I apologize that your name's not pulling up on the screen. If you'll unmute yourself and please start by telling us your name and then whatever question you have for Ambujam.
My name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Michelle.
Thank you for taking my call. Gosh, I have so many questions, and I'm trying to narrow it down. But 2023 was quite a ride. lot of challenges,
Hard.
but I feel like things
Yep.
are starting to open up for me a lot more in 2024. And I don't know how to phrase this, but I was recently told that I'm from the Palladians, which that was a beautiful surprise, and that of course I'm here on a mission to do service and work with balancing the divine masculine and feminine energies. And I don't know if there's anything you have, any information about that, or just in general, the shifts I've been going through have felt
Mhm.
pretty intense. Like I suddenly lost all this weight. I wasn't trying to diet. Um, I feel like something big is happening, but I'm not exactly sure what's happening. So if you have any insights, I would be super grateful.
Yeah. Um, so one thing I want to share with you guys, when we do readings, it's like you're this multifaceted diamond, and there's facets that will show themselves. And it doesn't mean it's the only thing that's going on, right? But that's the one for today. That's the relevant one, right? So when you talk about the information that you just got about the Palladians, what that more brings me to is this overall thing that's going on in your life. So this is what's interesting. So we're talking about, my experience of my clients waking up in front of me, right? And that changed everything. As you're talking about what's going on in your life, it's as if you are starting from zero suddenly, from scratch, from nothing but that light. And it's almost like you're a walk-in because it's that different. But you're not a walk-in, okay? But it's like all of a sudden I'm just this. What do I do with myself? And I know because I feel it in my bones, I'm on a mission. So the thing that I want to point to is the amount of light for whatever reason. It's like life snapped its fingers like this a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden you're like, it's almost like if you were to even go to speak about it, you'd be like, I just need to bawl my eyes out for a minute because that's all I got. Like whatever I'm going through is so profound. I can't even describe it to myself, but I feel it. Okay. So it's like this image of you walking now with all this light, and the mission that you were here to do when you first, when you were born here, it feels as if it's the same. And yet you're now going to do it from this no one place, this place. And it's the path is there, but now how you live the path has completely shifted overnight. But it wasn't overnight because it was building and building and building and building and building and building for lifetimes. And the phrase that comes to share with you is you're a messenger. It's not the only thing, but you have things to say and to point to that can feel revolutionary, not to you, but it's almost like you can say it, but people haven't caught up with it yet. So keep going. You'll figure this out because life did it. Let's say God did this to you. Source did this to you. Source decided, oh, now the time. And so poof. And the awakening was already there, but not to this degree. So it's like you were this human walking around with issues and stuff. It's not that they're gone, but now because there's so much light, that's taking precedent over everything. And you've got to figure this out. Like, what is this thing? How do I even breathe? How do I eat food? I don't know. So what I want to say to you is get to know this kind of pure space that's here now, because that's actually who you are. And there is no ego there. There's no emotion there. There's no thought even. Like it can't say to itself, I'm me, because that would be ridiculous. You're already that. It's a massive awakening. And now you have to live your life from there. So that's what I want to say. How do you feel when I'm saying that?
Well, I feel a lot of joy, um, and a sense of a relief that I'm not going crazy.
Yep.
And I feel like tears of joy are coming to me because I feel seen, and I've been spending honestly a lot of time alone. I've been really tired and just needing to be alone, and I was like, "What's going on? You know, why am I so tired? I'm not a sick person or anything." I'm like, "What's going on?" And then I just went, "Okay, well, obviously something is shifting within me, and I just need to honor that and rest." And that's what I'm doing. I'm resting because it's like a recalibration is
It's a
occurring.
recalibration.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
what's interesting about these types of things, not like not like what exactly what happened to you, but what's interesting about these awakenings or just the awakening that's going on is that we can miss it because we're used to looking at what's noisy and loud. We're not used to,
Yeah.
and what's interesting because your background is pure white. That's how I see you now. Walking, being like, okay, how do I make this thing work? What do I do? So keep paying attention now to this space in you to recalibrate from there. And you're starting all over again from here. And yet you have your whole entire soul history and all that foundation to meet this, right? So it's not like all that's just over. It got you here. And now this awakening, you go forward from here. So I would keep practicing bringing your awareness as a human to bridge and be and steep and learn from. Now what, guys? Yeah. Thank
Thank
you so
you. Thank
much.
you so
Yep.
much. Thank you. Blessings.
Thanks, lady. You too.
I believe he's frozen again.
Ah,
Shall we go to another person then?
I am freezing.
Up.
I am freezing up again. Yeah, let's go to another person and I'm gonna hop off and come back. Can y'all hear me?
Okay.
yep.
Let's go to user 1119. Welcome to the call. What is your name? And I will be back to join you guys in a minute.
Good day.
Hello.
My name is Lisa.
Hi.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. This is very enjoyable. Thank you. I'm in a transition feeling of feeling of sort of
I will be seen.
I just love her so much. Just a feeling of a lack of movement. I will say that. A lack of movement in terms of opportunities and feeling like a solid direction.
Would you
I'm-
say like the last 3 months is it just been kind of quote getting worse? You can use that phrase.
In a sense, I am in the state of being an inner peace most of the time. When there's a disruption from a pattern arising, an opportunity to see with new eyes, right? That is happening with more ease than it ever has. At the same time, there's the feeling of, okay, what's next? Like I'm just even applying for just menial jobs and no opportunities, this and that. Yet it's like I'm holding the polarity, right? Both ends of the polarities, and I'm within the center of it. And I'm like, okay, but now what?
So I'm going to share what I'm seeing.
Yes, thank you.
So it looks to me like you're stuck in some weird ass energy. And it's it's like a slow boiling pot. It started off not so like that. And then it just got, quote, worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's why I asked, like, these last 3 months, is it kind of, so we got to get you out of there.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck is that thing? How'd you get in there? What happened? And this is one of those, like, to even know that we're in some weird energy is such a art, right? To have discernment, to be like, wait a minute, this feels weird.
Yeah, there is
This does not. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you guys a really quick clue. Emotions are pretty simple: grief, loss, fear, abandonment, devastation. They feel clean and pure. When we feel weird, that's not an emotion. Something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This thing that you've been in is not an emotion, and it's not.
It's weird. That's the
it's
perfect word. And I'm just sort of
Right.
coasting along.
I got it now. Yeah.
I'm coasting along, just listening.
Okay. So is it okay if I share something really personal?
Yes.
That I see.
Yes.
So before this blob happened, okay, what it looks like to me is you were starting to bump up against some really severe family stuff that you were realizing about yourself, that you had to heal even more. And you were like on the edge of massive empowerment and owning some very, 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 very deep pain. Okay. And it was like all these parts of you were just busy kind of awakening to, my intuition's right. Oh my God. It is painful. Okay. So you started becoming aware of something on a really deep level on those levels. Then this thing came. Okay. This energy that came is starting to move now. Because now I see it. It knows I see it. It knows you see it. Even though your mind might not understand all this yet, your awareness is like, I know what's going on now. Okay. So now whatever this energy is like, ruh-roh, they see me. I gots to go. Okay. So it's clearing now. So what I want to say to you, Lisa, is go back to the knowing that you had and get big in your knowing. Own it, expand in it, own 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 it. You are not in any rush to heal it. That will happen. But stand strong in their truth. Because it's like, yes, we can have all these spiritual experiences and we feel one with things and all that. I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or anything. But the piece that you're getting to as a human being of what happened is freaking massive. And it will free you in stuff that has been locked down in the pelvic floor and just locked. Okay. Because you were coming into such this knowing is when this energy was like, ruh-roh, we can't have that. And the parts of you that were afraid and scared of the immense power that you have if you own these truths, it's like, that's how these two things, like the fear, that's where this got in. Is like the fear is like beyond consciousness. It's not just like, oh, I am afraid. It's like little parts were like, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. What does this even mean for me if I own this? What at this level? Because you've already done all these other levels, right? At this level. Then this energy that I won't get into who and what it is because it's just not appropriate for this call. Okay. But I know that if you sit with it, you'll know, right? This energy was like, we can't be having this. Uh-oh. And the more truth you got, the more it was like, oh, we definitely can't be having this. Boom. And then the fear is where the kind of opening was to make you start to go to sleep, right? Tired today. am I so tired? This is weird. Oh, well, must be processing, right? It started slow to keep you shut down. But you cannot be shut down now. Can't. You know too much. It's too late. So that's what I want to say. And the more that you stand in that, like, I trust my knowing, I trust myself, regardless of what anyone says, that will try to put little powder of doubt around my knowing, because that will happen, right? Feels very specific when that's happening. Again, it's not just doubt, it's like weird doubt. Okay. That's how we know. It's like a cognitive dissonance. That's how we know we're being messed with, is we start to feel weird and like, wait, was I really right what I knew? Right. The more that you like beeline and you like stay in that like rod of knowing, this stuff cannot come in. You start to feel yourself again. The opportunities that your psychic self knew were coming before this whole thing happened, they're still coming. So everything starts kind of feeling normal again. So, woof, that's a lot, right?
Yeah. I have
How you
felt the core feelings of fear of survival. Literally, it's been, the finances and these core fears. But at the same time, my trust and my faith and my knowing, I know who I am in truth, what I am in truth, and how I serve in truth is a life I'm living. Period.
period. That's that right there.
Yeah.
Get big and fat there and keep going. Keep going. It's like this image of like, you're on this path of awakening and healing, doing your thing, feeling like I'm in service 24/7. I know this about me. Like you're on your path doing your thing. And then this stuff that I spoke about is kind of part of your backpack on the way, because your human girl heals, your woman heals. And that makes you show up even stronger for this service thing. That's really hard to define because it's just kind of always there.
Just being, yeah.
Yeah. And then what your being does changes. And
Lisa, thank you so much for calling in. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for bringing that in. Ambujam, thank you for going deep. Yeah, well,
that's all I can do, man.
for you,
I
that's
don't
like a quick one.
surface. Yeah, it's hard
Because
to
you
be
just
quick.
see so much.
Yeah.
You see so much. Y'all, we're going to get into group power healing also in a little bit. And before we get into that, I want to take some more Q&A also. And I think my video is caught up. Hopefully it is. I apologize, y'all. But I know that y'all are in fantastic hands. April, do me the favor and put the link to the special offer in the chat box, please. Maybe we'll pop it in there one more time. And y'all can probably see the special offer button right underneath the video on the webpage now, because we fixed that recently. If you'll click on that, you'll get to the special offer page. And April, she'll be popping it up there any minute now. There we go. Y'all click on that blue link that just popped up. And again, and also y'all prepare a little bit as we get into the group healing here in a few minutes. For Ambujam, this opportunity to work with you in these sessions that you're offering for BTO, I want to let everybody know what they're going to be getting themselves into. And I say that in the most mysterious and playful way, because I know how wonderful it's going to be.
So I want to talk about a couple of things, and all the information is on the page, right? But I want to talk about a couple of things. So when 24 happened, I saw what I call this multi-self start coming online. All these aspects of us are activating, awakening. We have way more access to energy now than we ever have before. It's like this image of slices of consciousness are constantly opening and coming in around us, which then triggers our own selves to awaken and come online, right? So navigating this at this level is crucial now. You have to know yourself as this multi self. Have to know how to live, to know what to do, right? So when I was tuning in for package to offer. Spirit showed me this retreat that I'm offering, this 2-day retreat. And the first day is clearing the energy in the system that is relevant to you being able to even allow all these aspects of you to be here, because you have to feel safe inside to be who you are. You have to feel safe inside, right? So the first day, it's 2 hours, is we're doing all this accelerated healing for all of these layers that are related to you being able to even receive yourself at these levels now. As we're doing that, just like you're witnessing today, all this information will start coming out, right? And we'll do accelerated healing and awakening for you to really just be able to align and be one with all these aspects of you. And what do they even have to say? Right? They'll tell us, right? What's up with you now? Where are you? What's going on? How do you even navigate this time? And so all that information is within you. And what we get to do together is awaken and activate that and get the body really comfy being multi-self, right? Then the second day, we start from where you are after session 1. My Boston accent just came out. After session 1, after, we're going to meet you where you are and begin to clear the next layers to really start embodying the multi-self. And that just brings a whole other levels of information. So that is the simple description of our retreats. It's to awaken, heal, and clear anything related to you being all of these aspects of you simultaneously, because that's what we're about now. How do we live simultaneously with ourselves and all of this access to information, and be able to choose where we keep our focus, because it matters more than ever because we have so much access now, right? Our training wheels are off. We don't have spirit tapping on our shoulder anymore to be like, don't do that. Don't do that. We're the ones, man. Right? If you feel about your life how it was like 10 years ago versus now, guidance is real different. You don't need quote mommy and daddy being like, don't eat that. That looks weird. You should throw that out. No, we go, wait, that looks weird. I'm throwing that out. We do it now. Of course, quote mommy and daddy, they're still there, but they're watching from a very different place now, because that's what we need as evolved, awakened beings, right? So these retreats really meet all of these changes full on of what is going on. We also have the Lunar New Year that's starting this Saturday. We also have on January 20th, which is part of my package as well, January 20th on an astrological level opened us up to a very specific, like new world, even higher consciousness that then is connected to the Lunar New Year. That's going to open this Saturday, that opens us into a whole other level of new. And so 2024 is like new, right? We keep going. And so this retreat is there to help you embody all of this new, understand it, know it, be it effortlessly. Effortlessly is the work. It's effortless. Why is it effortless? Because you want to. You're ready. Everything in you knows what it's doing. And your human does not have to effort. So the other things I just want to say quickly that's included in this retreat is I also added, because my whole thing is about know yourself, know who you are, know the truth of you. I added for package A, I added, how do you clear your energy for real? And I take you guys through this whole process of how to actually clear your energy. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Package B includes that, plus a self-inquiry series of how do you know the difference between your mind, your emotions, and your heart? Another discernment tool, right? And when we start that series, Spirit asks you guys to think of a question, feel whatever it is you want to know about your life right now, and bring it to the mind, bring it to the emotions, bring it to the heart. What happens? It's kind of astonishing of what the heart has to say versus these other, aspects. And then we do lots of healing in that MP3, those MP3s as well. And then I added the January 20th group power healing to package B as well, because it's so significant to help you guys cross this threshold of this massive newness that January 20th kicked off, and the Lunar New Year is going to kick off on a whole other level. So these recorded things always meet you exactly where you are when you listen. It's like spirit reaches out of the recording and works with your current experiences. So make sure when you listen, treat them like a live session, bring your intentions, bring your choices for healing, and spirit literally works with those as well as what happened in the session and in the guided meditations and teachings as well. So that's what I want to share.
It's beautiful. It's such a generous offering the way that you show up and provide these live calls, and there's so much in the energy transmissions. And for comparison's sake, working with you one-on-one is significantly more expensive, and the healing sessions in the way that y'all can feel it, it's tangible even here on the calls as we've just gone through for people, but again, we're going to get to group healing experience in just a little bit. But for this price point, with the depth that is going to be experienced on those calls, and again, what you taught me in the brief time that we had together in one-on-one sessions on how to really clear the field, what's really, there's an old belief or something that has been passed through the generations of what it means to heal and what it takes to heal. And perhaps it was true for the time back then, but we've evolved, our consciousness has evolved, and we're ready to meet it from a different perspective and from a different capacity of who we've evolved into and what we're capable of now. And you meet us so beautifully in that space. So it's no longer meeting from decades or centuries back. It's like, now you're rewired in such a way, and Ambujam is going to meet you in that space. And again, it doesn't have to be hard work. It's a different
easy
place
man.
that we are working with these energies or having relationship, where it's a different way in which we're having relationship with these energies. Now I'm even removing the reward of working with these energies. It's different. It's different. And so again, Ambujam's capacity to see it and meet it and to help it evolve with you is profound. And so I highly, highly recommend that y'all take advantage of package B. Take both of them. I mean, really, for the difference in price, why wouldn't you? But not dip your toes. And if you have any doubts, just wait until you experience the group healing here in a second. But again, the link for the special offer, y'all, it's right underneath your video. Click on the special offer or click on the blue link here on the chat box if you can't find that link, or open up a new browser and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Ambujam. 32 notes take you to that same page. Which I'm guided to ask you, should we take a couple more live calls before we get into the group healing, or should we open up to the group healing?
It's a really good question because we could go either way. They both take us to the same place, actually. So, dealer's choice, man. What do you want to do?
Dealer's choice. Let's take a couple of callers and we'll get into the group healing, y'all. So we will play a little bit more. Yeah, we'll play a little bit more. Let's go to user 131. And again, I apologize. I don't know why it's doing that on Zoom, y'all. This is so weird, but here we go. Maybe ego is supposed to be either way. I'll call it that.
We'll stick with
Hi,
that.
welcome. What's your name?
John, is it me? Mare.
Yes, it's you.
It's Mare.
Hi,
Oh,
Mare.
Mare, hi. It's good to see you. Yeah.
Hey. First of all, I can't see myself, but anyway, I guess you can see me.
Yep. I
So
can see
much love. And Ambujam, we've talked and worked together before. I'm living in Denver again, but I love you both so much, and thank you. Thank you. You're tremendous. So my question is, about 11 days ago, I had this massive, crazy vertigo. Lights are flashing all over me. Incident where I was hospitalized overnight. I had to do MRI. I had to do CATs. Anyway, so much stuff that I've never done in my life. subsequently, everything was ruled out. But for me to get somebody to help me with the vertigo and resetting crystals has gone on and on and on and on. Okay. But in the meantime, following that, I had one massive download after another of the most beautiful, gorgeous stuff. One of them being starting off poetry and like channeling. I am a bodhisattva. I am an enlightened master. I am a bodhisattva. 2 or 3 days of this. So my question is, I had been really exercising and dancing, and with the new year, getting into a whole rejuvenation of my body and being. And now it's like I'm dealing, if I hurry or rush, I start going into high blood pressure. Today I saw someone and they told me not to stretch and do certain things.
So Mary, what's your question?
So what is going on? That's my question. What do you perceive? Thanks, Joe, for letting me be sick.
So it's very interesting what's going on. There's this image of all of these things happening with you, but you will not let me see any of it. And that in and of itself is fascinating. I'm like, what is going on? Why can't I see? Why? And what I want to say is the most important thing right now is for you to internally get the information internally, because who you are there are times when you have to go private, where you talk to no one, you can't hear any information outside of yourself. And you don't control those times. Sometimes you can be consciously be like, you know what, I need just some time to myself. But whatever is going on for you right now, if you start getting information outside yourself about what's going on, not helpful. It just doesn't look helpful, because there's something you have to know for yourself. And even if it's awesome, good information, it's just not helpful. And there's a reason why you're like, no, you're not seeing any of this. I can see that your body's like going through something. I can see it's like, you're scared, of course, like what the heck is going on in my body? It's freaking out, right? But you have to dive deep. It's one of those dive deep retreat things for yourself. You got to go be your own shaman. You got to dig deep, and you got to trust. And I know the habit is to go get info, but that is not, it's not truly how I see it with what you're showing me. It's not truly what you need. You need inner info.
Okay.
That's what I want to say.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for calling in. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you. You too, John. Thank you.
Thank you. It's interesting because as she was sharing that also, I've been having experiences as well where I want to quicken the pace of things happening. I want to be able to work out. I want to be able to run. I want to move my body in ways that I haven't in quite a few months or for a while. And it sounds good in my mind, and I'm motivated in different ways, but then my body is like, hold on a second, not yet. Not yet. And it feels almost like the physical body's perhaps catching up to something else that may be occurring also. I'm curious what your interpretation of that, or where you might take that interpretation that I have coming up in me personally that might be related to something that might be similar for others.
Yeah, because that's exactly similar to Mare. It's like she's going through this really unique internal process, and it's not for anyone else's eyes or ears. And it's knowing the self enough to know when it's time to reach out again and ask versus nope, I gotta stay in. And so what you're saying about what's going on with you is like, you already know that that's what's going on. Like, I want to do these things, but no one is like, no, man, nope. So I don't have anything to add to that because you already know. But I think the similar thing is really getting in touch with what's actually happening versus our habit to want to, for you could go faster, for Mare, it might get information from outside. It's like, I think what I could say that you're pointing to is part of this 2024 energy that maybe nobody's talked about yet because we're used to talking about it's so fast and this and that and that and this and that and this. Well, yep. And what I feel like you're pointing to, John, is there's this whole other aspect that's starting to open. I don't think we've experienced it yet consciously, that because it's so fast, I'm simplifying for time's sake here, something internal is going on with us that we've never experienced before that needs delicate time and presence and care and listening and rhythm, right? Like, what's our rhythm? And it's this whole other like level of awareness that we're used to, like here and here and here and here and here. Well, what about this little pea underneath the mattress? Wow, I've never been called here before. Oh, but I feel it, right? It's like, oh, what is, what, right? It's like, it's so like, oof, in there. And I hear spirit saying, and like some shaman energy saying, this is the drum beat that perhaps, I use that word, perhaps we haven't heard before. It's always been there, but we've been too busy in fear, and fear then makes us want to run around. Hypervigilance from trauma makes us want to run around. So there's something going on that I feel like you're pointing to, and it's just so interesting because Mare too, but it's just pointing to it in a different way, right? So there's a different drumbeat available to us, and it's almost like a heartbeat or like this depth of us that something's changing so foundationally in our cells and in our muscles and in our bones and in our body to meet these really high frequencies, right? Like our whole body's changing. So we need to put that on our buffet now. Like, okay, do I tune in here, 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 or there? And that's that multi-self thing, right? Like, we have a buffet of parts of us that we tune into, and now there's this one, which is deep, it's quiet, it's still, it has all kinds of information about our own self. We listen to it, follow it. Oh, so good. It feels so good. So that's what is coming from what you're saying.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're picking up on and the way that you're describing it by the reactions that I see on the screen. It's definitely resonating for so many. For me also, it's this depth of self-intimacy
Oh, that's a
that
good
we can have collective
word.
waves
Yeah.
that yes, energy speeding up and all these other things. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, elaborate, please.
No, you just did. Self-intimacy. Hashtag that thing. Yes.
You're right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, collective experiences may be happening, but it's our experience. We have the 1 in 8 billion personal experience that nobody else has. And for that to have the experience, if you look at it being a service or being of benefit to the collective, it's you going into you. It's part of the disentanglement of the
That's
way
what
that we've been taught to heal, or the way that we got so entangled that we even thought that we had to heal. Exactly.
So what if we do a healing
Yeah,
on that?
profound,
Bringing
y'all.
people into this deeper drum beat, let's call it, or self-intimacy. And if there's anything else
Mhm.
other than that that's necessary,
Take it away, please.
but like, because this is the next level of evolution in a certain way for the human to have that depth of intimacy with itself, with ourselves, because we're not used to that. And it's so vulnerable to even want to open that door. And yet we
Oh,
crave it.
it's so beautiful though. Yeah. Oh, the vulnerability is so worth it. Getting to the other side of that, it's a whole nother layer of breathing and experiencing that we're ready for. We're ready for it. So Ambujam, let's get into a group healing. And before we do that, should people get up stretched so they run around the house and burn some energy? What should we do? Because my God, what you're bringing through right now is just so in
Well, if we
tune
go
for
into
what
that,
we're shifting.
we go
Um,
into that
all
place
of
that
us.
you're pointing to. Sorry, there's like a delay because of the tech thing. If we go into that
Yeah.
place that you're speaking about, that I'll use your label of self-intimacy. If we go to that floor and we experience 2024 energies from there, it gives us a whole navigating
Mhm.
different tool or approach, you know? So I feel like we're ready to do our little mini healing now. If
All
you're
right,
ready.
let's get into it. I am absolutely ready. Y'all ready? I'm seeing some head shaking. Yes, so yes.
So I'm going to connect us all now into our collaborative group power place. And the focus, I'll say, is this self-intimacy. Let's bring you guys into your own floor, right? Your own deep place that I spoke about with Mare, for her to go there, right? We're all going to go. And what John's pointing to. And so we're going to clear whatever we need to, heal whatever we need to begin to embody and connect and anchor to this depth of self. And then if there's any other intention for this session right now, you guys will bring it, because it's you that's bringing everything that we do. So, and so I have to say, this is a fine print. You will never be the same after what we're about to do, because you can't forget this floor once we connect you in like that. You can't forget. You might put your awareness somewhere else, right? But you can't ever forget what we're about to do, because it'll be there. So I'm beelining now to this depth in all of you to begin to open it. And y'all just keep doing exactly what you're doing. It's doing you, you're doing it. And we're just going to start bringing you slowly down, 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 to land in your self intimacy place for today, because it's just the beginning, right? And what comes out is the fears of being that deep, the fear of being that true, the fear of being that self-honoring out in the world, like with others. And so we're clearing those old fears, it's like old cellular memory clearing. And as we clear, we're anchoring at the same exact time, like bringing you down, and removing the old. So Spirit's asking your permission now, is it okay that we just continue to anchor you as deep as possible in this moment? And then that goes right down through first, second chakra, down in earth, and roots through the body into the earth now too. So your connection with earth can be this evolved, different, deeper place now. And finances can come from here, can open. Health can open from this depth of connection with self. Friendships, community, your place in the world. So as we're doing this with your human self now, all these multidimensional parts of you are showing up that are relevant and significant to this depth of self-connection. Yep. They're like, me too, and me too, and me too. So we're just bringing this deep and wide of connection with self. Profound intimacy with self. Yep, and there's stuff clearing now in the human body, the throat, the neck, the muscles, the chin. There's a lot of like just stuff coming out now. So the physical body can feel comfortable and safe. Also being intimate with self. And the stuff that's coming out is just the old, denser consciousness. Yep. And then I feel like you guys are all getting your own blessing right now, being given spiritual gifts that are yours. Yep. Third eye, kind of opening, next levels. The jaw. So some DNA is coming up to clear also in the some specific body systems that is your bloodline and lineage stuff that you don't need to hold anymore, that expresses itself 24 hours a day and tells you you're still that, you're still that, you're still that, right? No, you're not that. Yep. So some DNA clearing going on. And the desire to rush can be breathed through. It's anxiety that can come up, it's trauma that can come up that creates that desire to rush. So we just stay present, we breathe with it, we let it know it's okay. Yep. And so your teams now are coming in to continue this work with you after this call, because now you're open to this relationship with yourself on many levels now. Yep. So our process now is starting to complete for time's sake. And I'm completing with all of you, our partnering, our collaboration. And you're just kind of going off on your own now, out of group energy, and for specifics of working together like that for now. Yep, spirit's pulling me out of your space. Yep. So that was a little mini group power healing. And now you guys are just kind of going off with your own package inside of, ooh, what's this new thing? What's here? Hmm. And I love that feeling it has of like everything's, it's like everything arises out of presence. It's quote slow, but it's not slow because it's consciousness on a deeper level. So it's not dense, slow. It's methodical. It's specific. It's like a flower that's budding in a very specific way. It has purpose of why it's doing that, right? So I feel like this place has a lot of that purpose, slow, unfolding. And the mind isn't used to slowing down to the degree it has to listen to that. So just practice and practice, practice. That's all. What does it take in me to listen to myself that deeply? Let me see. Let me spend time with that. Let me ask to be shown. You can even ask that intimate part of you. Let's say if we could call it something. Hey, will you show me how to listen to you? Will you show me how to connect? Because I don't know. It's all new for me. So yeah, that was really, I don't have a word.
Intimate and intimate. It's well, the way I experience it also, and it's just coming to me. It's like when we do go so fast, so fast, so fast, so fast, that eventually it gets so fast that it slows down.
Mm-hmm.
That we pop through the other side. And we're not in the velocity anymore. We're actually in the propulsion with it instead of being wildly carried by it. We're one with that we were acclimating to. And for me, this is what that feels like. It's like there's a reason our bodies have been shifting, our mind have been going, oh my God, things are going so fast that we've needed time to rest and speed up and rest again and speed up again. And again, attuning to what we're being invited into that brings a stillness, but it's a different type of stillness that we've experienced before. And that stillness after going so fast that you can just look around and you can pluck in slow motion different aspects of creation and mold it with your intentions and your heart and your emotions, because you can navigate with that vibration of frequency. Again, you've attuned to what's possible and you've become more with it. So it's profound what you're sharing today from
Yeah, it's like
what I'm experiencing.
Like you said, you're so fast, you're
and
slow.
the way that I'm seeing that velocity.
And that's how I see
popping through
it.
the other side on that. I have a question for you, and I'm going to say, I know this delay, y'all. I apologize. I'm putting you after you, please.
That's how I saw when 24 started. I saw all these slivers of opening consciousness, and it was just the beginning, and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we have all this access now, and our ability to like Tai Chi it. It's so fast, but it's like you said, it's present. The ability that we truly have to meet all of this at once and simultaneously is within us. But it's like what you just said. It reminds me of that. Yeah.
Now, Ambujam, you mentioned before we got into this beautiful field you took us into, that will never be the same again. What does that mean for a lot of people who experience your work and then get into these transmissions, I'll call them right now?
For me, the truth can't ever truly be described with words. We can point to it with words. And then there's this experience that we have directly with it inside of ourselves of presence, stillness, peace, the abiding self that we can't really describe. And yet we know it's there, and we know when we touch it, and we know when we feel it. And so all this work we do together, basically, to simplify it, even though there's a lot to describe as we're doing it, at the end of the day, it just keeps making more and more and more and more and more space for someone's direct experience with the truth of who they are, over and over and over and over and over, depth, 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 depth. And so today, what we just did, why I say you'll never be the same, is because your awareness is now aware of that depth of self now. It can't unknow it. We cannot pay attention to it, but you can't unknow it. And now you know it's there, and therefore you will never be the same. Because you can't. It's kind of like awakening is an interesting thing versus healing. So awakening is like 1 and 1 equals 2, right? 1 + 1 = 2. I'll never not know that. I know it now. I can pretend I don't know it though. 1 and 1. What the hell that equal? I don't know. Okay, but I know, right? Like I know 1 and 1 = 2. I can't now unknow that.
Right.
And so when people's initial awakening, I have to call it initial because it's for the rest of our lives. We are in it for the long haul, yo. It's forever. We will be purifying for the rest of our lives and reconciling and aligning and going deeper and deeper and knowing the self deeper because we're endless. Like it's not a limit and then we're done, you know? And how do we know that? Because we used to think there was a limit and we used to think we would be done. And we passed that and we're like, oh, it's still, right? Once you know something, you can't unknow it. Once you had your initial awakening, you don't go back after that. You can't. It is impossible. Just like I can't not know what 1 and 1 equals now. Can't do it. Can try to not know. So that's what I mean about like we're never the same, but it can't be described. Like the mind, it's not a mental description. It's a feeling that I know something's different now, but I don't know how to describe it, you know? And it's like interesting when we get into like this community and we have these similar experiences because we get it. We don't have to describe it to a certain degree because we feel it, right? We get it. And I remember before I had my awakening, I was like reading Adyashanti's books and teachers who teach awakening. And I'm like, the hell are they talking about? I didn't understand it at all. And then once I had my initial awakening, I was so hungry for that information and it resonated so deeply. And I was like, interesting. This meant nothing to me a week ago. I didn't get it at all. Because my mind was like, what do you mean no one? What? And then when my thing happened, I was like, oh, I'm starting to understand. And that can't be spoken to. But that's what happens when we all work together. There's like this truth within people comes forward on its own. We don't try to make it happen. It's there and it works with us. in ways that I can't like describe. Like when my gifts first opened and I was first doing readings my very first year, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just know when I got into the presence of somebody and they wanted to know about themselves, boom, that's all it took. And then poof, something happened. And we didn't have computers yet. We didn't have social media yet. And I had to like write a 3-thing pamphlet of like describing what I do. I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted to say, just come, something happens. Let's just do it.
There you
That's
go.
all. We'll see. You know? So that's my long story. I mean, my long answer to your question.
It's a great answer. And again, so many people are writing in here. I love what you're saying right now. You're so great at explaining the experiences. And I so appreciate that. And guiding us into acclimating to that also. Again, perhaps when we're in the energy field in the beginning, we don't understand it, but that attunement happens and all of a sudden it just clicks. It's like, then we're in that field with you. It's like, well, I'm seeing this in a way that I didn't before. I'm seeing and hearing colors that I've never heard and seen before.
And yet feels so familiar, right?
It's really profound work that you're doing. And yet so familiar. Well, I think that's that calling of the soul and the calling of that part that knew, but that perhaps forgot, that was resonating towards something, because that's what that echo of the soul is singing to us. And that's the great mystery, but somehow we know that we have the capacity to tune into it, because again, it's just right there at the periphery of what's available to us. And we as humans can't help but to be guided to it, like a beacon that's calling us, like that siren's call in the most benevolent way. So it's so wonderful. I want to ask you, Ambujam, before we end today's call, because I can't believe we're almost in 90 minutes. Well, first of all, April, put the link for the special offer in the chat box one more time. Again, the special offer link should be at the bottom of the video page as well, y'all. Click on that. For people who are participating, are they going to be able to show up and ask questions like we did a little bit on the call today as well?
In the retreat? No, it's just
in the retreat. Yes,
everyone's just receiving. There's no Q&A. And I have found that from my experience of when the group started to years later, that the Q&A, people don't like it because it takes them out of their experience. And so I was like, interesting. So I need to have a separate group for Q&A, let's say, which I haven't created yet, but I've been thinking about it. But yeah, I found doing it over the years, we would like do a whole hour healing and then I would do a half an hour Q&A. And the consensus was, I don't like, because it's taking me out of my space. You know? And so I just stopped doing it. And so yeah, nope, there's no Q&A. You come, you receive, it's a webinar, so nobody sees you. It's just, I do it actually on audio, not on video, because I want you guys to stay with your own self and not pay attention to the video, right? I want you to just pay attention to yourself. And when I do groups, they're all on audio, because it creates the space to be able to only pay attention to yourself. It creates the soil for that. And I've actually asked people, I've done a poll before, hey, would you rather me be on video? And they're like, nope. I'm like, okay, this is how we do it. Because I want to know what you guys want, right? I'm here to, so it's just really interesting when I start asking people what they want. The other thing, thank you. I wanted to share this and I forgot. When you do package B and you have both day retreats, what happens with that is after retreat A ends, the group power field continues throughout the whole time until we meet again, until we start the second day. That power field, again, I can't describe how it works, but it's like spirit and your teams, the higher beings that work with us, your specifics. It's like this field in the background that's constantly working with your path as a whole to bring healing, awakening, and self-empowering support of all the specific issues that you're working on. So it's really interesting. It's like this whole kind of 24-hour, 27-hour healing that's going on. So I wanted to share that and I forgot. So thanks for reminding.
That's wonderful. Y'all take advantage of the special offer. Click on the special offer link, click the buy now. You'll get everything that you need to join the group calls. And I know that you're saying that in those workshops, in those retreats, will continue to the next day, but Ambujam, what you guide us through here today, I mean, how long is this going to last? Because I'm feeling it, and I was chopping my video. Are y'all feeling it too? Are you feeling like a sense of peacefulness, that slowness coming in, that presence, just in a different way? That attunement, that's just, it's quite beautiful. And again, I started the call of how amazing my experience was with you on the one-on-one session. And to experience, I would call this a drip, but that drip is so oceanic as well.
Oceanic.
So
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm so honored and grateful and touched and just to be with you guys and to do this healing together and to talk together like this and to do the readings that we did today. And because I don't take this stuff lightly, man. Like, you guys allow me in your super private secret space, and that is never to be taken lightly. And so I just want to say thank you very much. And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on again. Like I said in the beginning, it's been a long time coming, and I'm so grateful. And we're gonna have to do another call where it's not as choppy, y'all, but it's perfect because there's so much coming through. I just trust all of it. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for the space that you create for all of us. Your gift, and I'm so happy for all of y'all that have the opportunity, for all of us have the opportunity to take this retreat and to get to know Ambujam's work more deeply. Take advantage of the special offer, come back and listen to the replay, and dive into anything that Ambujam is working on. Ambujam, thank you. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Y'all, thank you for being on call. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next call.